Right now, human remains are found in a pit in Sun Prairie, all that we know so far. Also, an organization looking to keep our lakes clean reaches 20 years. We catch up with the person leading the charge. Plus, the Pack are back in action. Jason Wilde breaks down their preseason opener against the Jets. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. The Packers take the field for the first time this preseason at Lambeau against the New York Jets. Our Jason Wilde was there on how the Pack fared.
This feels like a good time to point out that once again, preseason scores do not matter. The final score does not count. What does count is how you play, and Matt LaFleur cannot be happy with the way his team played tonight in its first preseason game. Lots of dropped passes, lots of penalties, not a lot of yardage gained by either offense, the number ones or the number twos. It was not the kind of game that Matt LaFleur was looking for coming out of the gate. He pointed out that they made mistakes on offense, defense, and special teams, so at least they spread around the struggles. They've got plenty of time to iron those things out, though. They return to practice on Monday. We'll see what lessons they take from a brutal performance against the New York Jets in their preseason opener. That's it from Lambeau Field. Don't forget to read all of our coverage, debacle though it may have been, on channel3000.com. And again, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which allows you to get our coverage delivered to your inbox, whether you want it or not, after a game like this, every day. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Jason, thank you. We'll also have highlights from the game later in sports. Tonight, multiple agencies responded to a report of a person struck by lightning in Jefferson County. The Sullivan Volunteer Fire Department reported it provided mutual aid to the Palmyra Fire Department on the Carlin Trail in Palmyra. The status of the victim is unknown at this time. News 3 Now reached out to the Palmyra Fire and Rescue Department, and they say more information will be released in the morning. A 12-year-old is dead after a UTV crash at a farm in the town of Wyacina. The crash was reported just before 4 p.m. this afternoon. The child had rolled the UTV over and was trapped underneath. Columbia County Sheriff's deputies as well as the Rio Fire and EMS crews responded. First responders determined the child had died from injuries in the crash. The name of the child is not being released at this time. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
We are going to continue to see the chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms, but we pretty much closed the door on, say, that severe weather threat. We had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in Wisconsin, not necessarily in our coverage area for the most part, closer to Green Bay. Now we're going to transition over to a heavy rain threat. So let's take it into some of these showers and thunderstorms. We'll first take it down to the Greene and Rock County area, just outside of Evansville, south into Orfordville. Latest scan continues to keep that around Broadhead, Orfordville, Evansville. Just a couple of lightning strikes, but these are these heavy rainmakers that we were talking about. Also up near Primrose, just to the north and west of Belleville. We're going to be dealing with a little bit of rain. This is just south of Mount Horeb. These are slow moving and there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere for these to use. So essentially they're going to be raining themselves out as we go overnight into Sunday, which is why we still have that flood watch in effect until 7 a.m. on Monday. This is an aerial flood watch, so minor flooding to ponding is expected, or possible, I should say. Waterways like rivers and streams, they could become a little bit higher as these heavy rains continue to fall. So over the next couple of days through at least Monday, folks in this area, southwestern Wisconsin, that includes parts of Dane County as well as Iowa, Lafayette, Greene, as well as Grant County, we're going to be underneath that high risk for excessive rain as we go through Monday. Now, there is still a slight risk, so a scattered chance for severe thunderstorms this evening. But as I said, I think it's pretty much done, Jalen. We'll, of course, keep an eye on things behind the scenes. We'll take a look at when the rain officially wraps up in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, we'll see you then. Now to Sun Prairie, as the Dane County Sheriff's Office reported human remains were found in a manure pit in the city Saturday morning. The Sheriff's Office responded to the 2100 block of State Highway 19 just before 7 a.m. The identification of the deceased individual is pending and will be released by the Dane County Medical Examiner at a later date. An investigation is ongoing. The Beloit Police Department are investigating a fatal hit-and-run crash that occurred this morning. Beloit police reported the crash occurred just before 2 a.m. on White Avenue and Riverside Drive. A crashed motorcycle was found at the scene, and police said the other vehicle involved, a blue truck, had left the scene prior to officers' arrival. Officers reported the driver of the motorcycle was a 37-year-old Beloit man who died from the crash. His identity is not being shared at this time. The truck was abandoned and later recovered by the officers. Madison's Lake Mendota and Monona are currently classified as impaired because of pollution issues, but friends of Monona Bay are trying to clean up the lake's one piece of trash at a time. Our Ellie La Liberté introduces us to the woman behind it all.
Watch your head.
Nina Emerson has a unique talent.
I've gotten to be expert about trash.
And it comes from her love of the water.
It's totally awesome.
Which is why the second Saturday of every month, you'll find her here, cleaning up Monona Bay.
Look at that. Article of clothing.
She's been doing it since 2005.
The lakes in the Madison area are just the jewel.
Nina is the coordinator of Friends of Monona Bay, which this month hits 20 years.
We have never missed a month.
And the weirdest thing she's ever found?
An old safe. No treasures, unfortunately.
Since the group started tracking in 2006, they've collected more than 3,000 bags of trash.
And I was astounded.
With the help of more than 3,600 volunteers. Volunteers like Neha Kaship.
So I recently moved to Madison and I just wanted to find a way to get involved with my new community.
Neha and Nina share a common belief.
I want to kind of meet new people and find a way to give back to this community that I'm now a part of.
This is really small scale stuff here, but it's something that I can do personally. And I can encourage other people.
And as long as there's trash,
that's dedication.
There will be Nina.
It's ongoing. So you can always find trash. That's the moral of the story.
Reporting in Madison, Ellie La Liberté.
Lovely.
News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. And you might have noticed in some of those shots that our very own Blaze Keller was out there helping. And today's total haul was 21 bags of trash, a kitchen sink, a fireman's boot, and a bike frame. If you're interested in volunteering, you can find more information on the Friends of Monona Bay Facebook page or Blaze's meteorological Facebook page as well. A bipartisan bill seeking to make it easier for nurses to practice independently is now law. Governor Tony Evers signed Wisconsin Act 17. Before this, Wisconsin's thousands of advanced practice registered nurses couldn't practice medicine without a fully credentialed doctor by their side. With many areas in the states already facing doctor shortages, the hiccup made it harder for people to get care. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say this new law will change that. Public Health Madison-Dane County is looking for a dog who bit a woman on Friday. PHMDC reported the incident occurred around 7:30 p.m. near the 800 block of North Thompson Road. The bite occurred when the woman was walking towards a parking lot. The dog reportedly got away from its owners and ran up and bit the woman. The dog is described as a small terrier-type dog. Authorities are urging anyone with information to contact the Madison Police. If you're a fan of cosplay nerddom, then this weekend is just for you. The Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo kicked off earlier today. The expo highlights all things TV, film, cosplay, gaming, anime, and more. The event will also have celebrity guests such as wrestling great Mick Foley, Walter Jones from Power Rangers, and so many more recognizable faces and voices.
I have a pretty good idea of who we want to book for each convention and kind of make it, a little bit of stuff from column A, a little bit of stuff from column B. Like we've got the wrestlers, we've got the voice actors, we've got a Power Ranger, we've got some video game characters, so we've got a little bit of everything.
If you missed out on today, fret not. The event continues tomorrow at 10 a.m. People gathered at Warm Belly Farms in Cottage Grove for a good cause. The annual Blossom Bash kicked off a fun-filled day full of food trucks, live music, flower picking, and more. The Blossom Bash is an end-of-the-summer celebration benefiting the Dane County Humane Society.
Highly seasonal around here, so we try to pick one big event every season. We did one in the spring that went over really well. So this was our teaser for the fall, and then we might put together something for the fall season as well. But we're just kind of kicking around different ways to reach out and be with the community because we are very community focused around here.
A portion of the proceeds will go towards the Dane County Humane Society. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze Keller returns with a complete look of your first one forecast. But first, the United Nations is set to have a rare meeting on Sunday over Israel's plans to intensify its war with Hamas. Plus, President Trump announces he is set to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Thank you for staying with us. The United Nations Security Council is set to hold a rare Sunday meeting to discuss Israel's plan to intensify its 22-month war with Hamas by taking control of Gaza City. CBS's Deborah Pata is in Jerusalem with the latest on the conflict and mounting humanitarian crisis.
Ibrahim Arabia was born and raised in Gaza City. Over nearly 2 years of war, he has been repeatedly displaced, unable to find a safe haven anywhere.
We've seen death many times. I lost my nephew and my brother.
Both he and his wife were injured in an IDF attack, but finally they returned here, setting up a makeshift shelter near where they once lived, determined this would be the last time they moved. Well over 500,000 Palestinians call Gaza City home. It was under siege for over a year as the IDF tried to root out Hamas until the ceasefire in January, when hundreds of thousands of residents returned. Now they are facing yet another forced evacuation.
I'm worried about my family. I'm scared the attack might be even harder than before. It's a terrifying situation with no food and no water.
Every meal, no matter how meager, is precious. Each day, a struggle for survival. But this shattered land of rubble and ruin is where all Arabia's memories are. And sometimes it's too much.
It was a place of love and peace, with people in the streets, full of joy and laughter. My father is buried here, my brother, my grandfather. I won't leave.
It's not just the people of Gaza who are desperate for a deal. Tonight there were demonstrations across Israel, read, calling for the hostages to be freed and demanding an end to the war.
The Internal Revenue Service enters the weekend with a change in leadership. President Donald Trump is removing Billy Long as IRS commissioner, according to 2 administration officials. Long was confirmed to the role just 2 months ago, and 2 sources say Trump is likely to nominate Long to be an ambassador. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has been chosen by President Trump to head the IRS on an interim basis until a permanent person is picked. Tonight, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is trying to shore up Western opposition to any loss of Ukrainian land to Russia after President Trump said that a peace deal might involve, quote, some swapping of territory. In a video shared on social media, Zelensky insisted Ukraine will never give up land to Russia and its occupiers. Zelensky is not invited to next week's high-stakes summit in Anchorage, Alaska, and that has him and others worried. CBS's Willie James Inman is in the White House with the latest.
President Trump is preparing to take another swing at a deal to end the war in Ukraine with President Putin during a high-stakes summit next Friday in Alaska. At the White House Friday, the president said Ukraine may have to give up some territory if there's going to be a ceasefire.
You're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years. We're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated.
Putin wants all the Ukrainian land captured in its invasion and then some. Today, Zelensky rejected that, warning we will not give Russia awards for what it has done. This weekend, Vice President J.D. Vance met in Kent, England, with UK, European, and Ukrainian officials to discuss a path forward. A U.S. official said the meeting produced significant progress. French President Emmanuel Macron reinforced support for Ukraine, saying in a statement, Ukraine's future cannot be decided without Ukrainians. Some critics of the president agree.
The fact that Vladimir Putin now has a meeting with the president of the United States in Alaska that doesn't involve Ukraine is a massive coup for Vladimir Putin.
President Trump has shown frustration with Putin, even threatening new sanctions. But Friday's deadline for Russia to end the war came and went. Sam Vinograd is a CBS News national security contributor.
President Trump keeps moving the goalpost on when and what the deadline is for Russia to agree to a ceasefire deal.
The Alaska summit comes after months of phone calls and conversations with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in an effort to push for a peace deal.
Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaise Keller.
And thank you, Wesley, for sending us in this photo of a shelf cloud moving through Waterloo earlier this afternoon. Once those storms were continuing to make their way north and eastward, we really appreciate you sending it in this photo, not only because we get to see what you're seeing, but also this is another example of a beautiful shelf cloud. You can head on over to our website, or you can scan that QR code there. If you have any weather photos that you've taken over the last couple of days, put them in our gallery that we can show on air and that folks visiting our website can also see as well. Upper 60s to low 70s this evening. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will be possible, especially further to the south. That's where this, and I use the term loosely, kind of cold front settled as we went through the day today, and that's where we'll likely see showers and thunderstorms develop this evening. Heavy rain is now going to be our main threat, not only overnight, but into and throughout Sunday night, and then into Monday as well. That rain finally wrapping up as we go into Tuesday. Now, in our area, we didn't have any severe thunderstorms, maybe one or two severe thunderstorm warnings in Vernon County. Most of that severe weather activity was up towards the Green Bay area, but we still are going to keep an isolated to scattered chance for severe weather, or a marginal and slight risk for severe weather as we head throughout the rest of this evening. But I think that severe weather window has really closed. We didn't have a whole lot of upper level, mid-level support working with these severe thunderstorms or the chance for severe thunderstorms today. And we're not going to really have that as we go overnight either. Not to mention, as I said earlier, this front is very weak. So we didn't have a lot of oomph in the atmosphere to push up these storms. So what's now going to happen? That cold front, and again, it's very weak, is going to essentially hang out over parts of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. And in doing so, it's going to be an area where showers and thunderstorms can just use that little bit of upward momentum to develop, rain themselves out, and then we'll kind of see this happen all throughout the night. It's also going to pull in another weak low pressure system out of the plains as we go into Sunday morning, bringing yet another round of heavy rain, some showers and thunderstorms, but likely not any severe weather. So we're going to just continue to see areas that likely will pick up maybe some isolated spots of heavy rain tonight, once again get hit by showers and thunderstorms as we go into Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, wrapping up as we go overnight Sunday into Monday. Monday will still keep that chance for showers and thunderstorms, especially into the morning hours, as that's when that flood watch is going to be allowed to expire. Could see some lingering showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday, but Wednesday onwards, we really do look to remain dry. We're not seeing any big systems move through the area. As I mentioned, we didn't have a lot of mid or upper level support, which is really important for storms to maintain themselves. And so that jet stream is well off to our north. That's what carries these systems through the United States. And if we're not underneath it, it's going to be really hard for us to get a whole lot of rain activity unless maybe we just get a little blip of energy, which doesn't look super impressive over the next couple of days beyond Wednesday. So in terms of rain, we're looking at anywhere in the purple, about 1.5 to 2 inches of rain really through Monday. Some isolated spots of 2 inches cannot be ruled out either. So that aerial flood watch doesn't mean major flash flooding. It just means we could see low-lying areas get some some ponding, some minor flooding. Basements could get a little bit wet. We might also see some ponding on the streets. Clear out the drains if you haven't done so already. Get the sub pumps as well if your basement tends to flood a little bit. But, this isn't by any means flash flooding. It's just, we're taking into account that maybe some streams as well could get a little bit high, and we just want to make sure everybody's safe.
For sure. And, we're last few days of summer. Looks like the heat's going to stick around, so stay hydrated, be safe, and all that good stuff.
Yep, the humidity is not going away anytime soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Should have come in sports. The Brewers looking to continue their dominance in the NL. Could they keep it going against the Mets? Find out next in sports. The Pack are finally back in action tonight, hosting the New York Jets in Lambeau. Jordan Love and the first team often struggled. Love going 1 for 5 on the night, but they were eventually able to get on the board. Brandon McManus would kick it through the uprights, finally getting some points on the board. And later in the second quarter, Malik Willis in for Love now. Willis dropping back, looking for someone, and bam! Willis gets hit in the end zone, loses the ball, and the Jets would recover for a touchdown. But it wasn't all doom and gloom for the Pack this evening. We skip to the fourth, Pack looking to get something going, and Amar Johnson would answer the call. Johnson dipping, dodging it. He would take it from 39 yards out, leading the O, and to our first Lambeau leap of the season. But unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough to mount a comeback. The Pack fall to the Jets 30-10. And in Milwaukee tonight, the Brewers looking to continue their hot streak in their second game in their series against the New York Mets. Starting off at the bottom of the second, bases loaded, Crew down by 1, and Joey Ortiz hits a high chopper up the middle, right past Francisco Lindor to bring home 2 runs to get the things in motion for the home team. And then we go ahead and fast forward to the bottom of the 7th, and that's where things will really get going. William Contreras hits a 2-run bomb of Ryan Hesley to make the score 7-4, and that's all the Crew would need. The score would hold there, and through the end of the game, the Crew win it 7-4. Their next game is scheduled tomorrow at 1:10. And that's it for sports. A final check of your first one forecast is coming up when we return. Blaze, before we go, it seems like summer's going to be sticking around just a little bit longer.
It is, yes, and that's going to help keep the showers and thunderstorms around. A lot more yellow and red on radar 3000. Nothing severe right now, just heavy rainmakers. So make sure that you are avoiding flooded areas. Remember, turn around, don't drown. That heavy rain threat sticks around through at least Monday. We dry out, though, Wednesday and warm up Thursday and Friday of next week.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. Thank you all for joining us. Seinfeld is up next, and New See Now This Morning starts at 4:30.